Hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. My name is Jen. We do tarot over here. This is going to be the general reading for all signs for January 26th through to February 1st. Everything is timestamped, so you can just check the description for your sign. But first, we are going to see what that universal message is for all signs. Let's see. Six of Wands. Nice. Okay, so some really good energy, especially coming off that cycle ending from last week here. And then we do have strength in the shadow. 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. So yeah, that ending, part of that 10 of Swords ending that we were speaking on last week, it feels like there's still some remnants there, so it's still kind of lingering with us. But the Six of Wands does feel lovely. We've had some success, right? Perhaps even some recognition from our peers, which always feels nice after coming from a place of not feeling so great and having an ending such as that, right? So that's really lovely. I'm curious to see how that translates for all the signs. Let's get started. Aries, hello, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for this last week of January. Show me Aries, please. Cards have been so jumpy this year. This is the first time they're not coming out. There we go. Alrighty. Four of Wands and Judgment in the shadow there. Oh, and I don't have your little signifier card. Let's put that out for you. All right. Four of Wands and Judgment here. So that is the last of the Aries cards in the wand, in the wands, right? So it feels like you're already really getting your footing in whatever cycle this is that we're speaking on here. And it also does make sense that we're speaking on pillars, foundations, right? Core beliefs, core values, things of that nature. With Judgment and King of Swords, perhaps your foundations are being tested in a way, right? And it feels like you have, or you will, pass that test, right? Let's get some clarifiers here. Okay. All right. We're continuing that movement, which is nice to see. Let's get some more clarifiers for Aries. Thank you. That's too many. I need one more for Aries, please. There we go. Thank you. We can see them all perfect. Four of Pentacles, Seven of Wands in the reverse to the Five of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Four of Wands coming through in that clarifier. So definitely speaking on something that is affecting your foundations, okay, Aries? And then that Nine of Cups, the Magician in the shadow, okay? So we are approaching some sort of tower here. It feels like we're confronting, I just heard confronting my demons, confronting your fears. I'm wondering if you're gearing yourself up for that, to start exploring your foundations and what isn't working for you any longer, right? There is a hesitation that I'm seeing, but also with that hesitation, or it could be panic in the material sense, or you're exhibiting that by not letting go of material things. But the Seven of Wands in reverse does speak on this idea that we're not blocking ourselves from moving through this. And with the amount of pentacles that we do have on the board, Aries, it does feel like we are grounded. We are being mindful. We're being intentional this week about working through whatever this is here for you. Perhaps there is an urge to be a little bit disconnected from this, right? Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups, right? A little bit of hesitation. And now that I'm looking, we do have those 3 4s. So I'm just going to take a peek into that. 3 4s, a subject of reflection, which actually does make perfect sense, right? Because we are heading into a space where we're gearing up to face our demons or face what no longer fits within our core values. So this definitely does feel more like personal work here. And it does take great strength to do that. And you are making that happen. Okay, we're looking at our foundations and continuing through that work that you were doing last week, Aries, continuing that dialogue within yourself of how do I remain happy? How do I stay within the present moment? What inside me is holding me back from true enjoyment of my life up till this point? Okay, so that's really what I'm seeing. That's the kind of battle that we're facing or that we're gearing up to face, okay? Oh, all right. King of Cups and Strength showing up again. So whatever we are facing, it's not easy, especially when I see that double Strength card. It's taking, I just heard, it takes a lot of strength to look yourself straight dead on in the mirror, okay? And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. You're doing this kind of analysis of yourself, an edit of a little spring cleaning on the inside, Aries, if you will. And you're clearing the cobwebs out, which is fantastic, right? And like I said, with that 6 of Wands energy coming through, you will have success in this. You will feel better after this. It's almost just like we got to get our hands dirty a little bit. And that's what I see you doing this week. Okay, Aries, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you as always. We'll see you next time. You take care. Leo, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see. But before we do, Strength, 6 of Wands, Leo, Leo. So this week looks to be a good week for you. 2 of Pentacles here, and that's 7 of Swords. Maybe I spoke too soon with that 7 of Swords here. This could be you. Honestly, this feels like you trying to see through the bullshit. That's what it feels like. You're trying to see through the bullshit. And it feels like, I don't know if it was you. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But somebody doesn't want to see you move on. Somebody doesn't want to see you move on and you're kind of done with it. Let's get some clarifiers here. Yeah, you're done with it. You're like, I'm over this. I don't want to be here anymore. Let's get some more clarifiers for Leo, please. Thank you. Okay, let's see. So I feel like you're kind of getting it from both sides. Whatever this energy is with that 7 of Swords is really trying to keep you kind of trapped in where you are, right? And it's hard to kind of shake this thing loose. A little bit like a ball and chain that's just there and you're trying to be like, ugh, I'm done with you. Go away. So you're getting that energy as well, but I feel like you're perhaps stressing on the future or really worrying about what's next or how to make what you want to happen in real life. Okay. But yeah, there's this idea of we want to move on. We want to move forward. We want to be happy here. We don't want to sit in whatever energy we're sitting in any longer. That Five of Swords energy, and perhaps let me back up. So we have the Eight of Wands, the Four of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, the Hermit, the Five of Swords, and Death with the Nine of Swords over in that shadow. So definitely this feeling of like we want to like remove the ick. We want to be happy, but how do we get there? Because we're stuck in a place that doesn't feel like where we want to be. And so you're changing things up, right? And you have an uphill battle, Leo. I'm not going to lie to you, because not only are you getting it from outside, but you're kind of feeling it from the inside too. So it does make sense that we're kind of juggling a few different priorities here. I think that by the end of this week or in the coming days, you will find and navigate yourself a way forward out of this. It's just a matter of closing these doors. So that Ten of Swords, that was that universal message for everyone last week. I feel that kind of bleeding into this week for you. But finally kind of breaking away and gaining some momentum from the people that are kind of chasing after you, kind of saying, wait, come back, I need you for this, I want you here, sink to this level with me, you don't need to rise up. Okay, feels like you are closing the door. It's just taking a little bit longer than what we thought, Leo. Okay, Ten of Wands. Yeah, it's just taking a little longer. That's all. Eight of Wands. So the idea of we want to move forward, but also we want to build ourselves up. And so it feels like because we are working on those two things, it's taking a little bit longer time. And that's okay, right? That's quite all right. You have to move through it at your pace and do what you have to do to get you through. And you're moving, right? You're navigating this. You're shaking it off. And, you know, that's great. Leo, thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you all the best today and always. We'll see you next time. You go get them, okay? Take care. Sagittarius, hello. Let's get right into it and see what we can see for the week of January 26th, please. Thank you. All right, Seven of Swords with the Four of Cups. So you are not feeling it. You are not having it. You're protecting your peace. So whatever the Seven of Swords energy is, right, you recognize it for what it is, and you're like, no, not today, my friend. We're not letting this happen. You're not letting it affect you in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I'm thinking long term. Whatever this energy is, whether it be a person, place, situation, a place, whether it be a person or a situation, here you're like, I see you for what you are. You are a flea. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking end game here, and you're just a nuisance. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, Sagittarius, we have the Chariot, King of Pentacles, King of Wands, Ten of Cups, Devil in reverse, Hanged Man in reverse, Three of Cups here with the Queen of Swords in that shadow. And you're hiding in that shadow as well. So again, this idea of being deliberate, that was part of your reading last week as well, right? So being very intentional about where you're going, and carrying that energy of not feeling triggered into this week. So very much whatever this energy is, it reveals itself to you, right? You're like, whatever kind of con you're trying to play here, I do not have time for that. I do not have time for you. I'm moving on. And that's what you're doing. Like I said, you're thinking of your future here. You're trying to be the best version of yourself. You're trying to make sure that your family is secure, that you're secure. You're like, I don't have time for this energy, whatever it is. I don't have time to sit in this. I'm choosing my own happiness, right? I'm choosing to put my energy and direct my energy where I want it to be. I'm being super intentional about that, and I'm enjoying the process because you've learned from your past. And perhaps putting energy into other people or into other situations that did you no favors, right? So you're saying, no, I've been here, done that, got the t-shirt. We are not repeating that this time around, right? And with that Six of Wands, I'm hearing leading the charge. Feeling good about where you're going. So it's almost like, yes, there's some recognition here. There might be, but that it almost, you don't need that within this particular situation, Sagittarius. You're going in that direction anyway. You're moving on anyway. And if people want to shout you out for that, so be it. You're standing in your truth and you're perfectly okay with recognition for that or none. Two of Wands here and that Five of Wands. Yeah, you're being, like I said, being very intentional about how you're showing up and what you're giving your energy to. And like I said, we're not paying attention to this. It's not for you. It doesn't suit you. You're standing in your joy and you're quite happy to be there. Oh, Sagittarius, I love this for you. Looks like a great week ahead. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you showing up and we'll see you next time. You take care. Capricorn, hello. Let's jump right in and see what the week of January 26th has in store. Alrighty. The Fool and that Five of Pentacles in the shadow. Ten of Swords ending from last week, right? And then we do have that Ace of Swords coming through. So whatever that ending is, yes, it was a little bit rough, what that energy was from last week, but we're fully jumping off, right? Letting go. And it might have been a little rocky, right? Jumping off that cliff, the landing might have been a little rough, but it's getting better. We're working it out, right? We're dusting ourselves off here. Beautiful. Seven of Swords coming up for a lot of the signs so far. All right. So we have that double Five of Pentacles. Oop, oop, oop. Now the cards are jumpy. So definitely moving on. And again, the concept of being intentional, right? Being very deliberate in where you're going, being deliberate in how you're thinking, how you're maneuvering, you're strategizing here. That's apparent. In your clarifiers here, we have the Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, the Lovers, Emperor, the Sun, and the Strength. A lot of major arcana. Alrighty, so we're coming into a monumental time for you, Capricorn, and it shows, especially with that Ace of Pentacles coming through as well. That is your ace, right? So this idea of, even if you're not reinventing yourself, you're looking at things differently. You're looking at your life differently. There definitely has been a shift. There is a shift happening here. You see things for what they are. You see faults, or perhaps where perhaps the wool was pulled over your eyes, Capricorn, because you wanted to see the best in someone here or in some situation. That is being lifted. The veil is being lifted. It could even be for some of you here that you're seeing your own self-sabotage for what it is. And we're saying, I will no longer allow this energy to color my life. Not being in the moment, overthinking, constantly moving from one thing to the next, thinking the worst, right? These kind of energies, we're not letting it detract from our life any longer, and we're being very intentional about how we want to move on, right? So taking charge a little bit as well, taking control and saying, I'm going to do what I need to do, and this will no longer affect me. And again, the idea of intention, the idea of we're dusting ourselves off. We're dusting off this energy. Leo had this too. So if you want to check Leo's reading, it was very similar, presented differently, but very similar in that we have no time for anything, anyone, even our own energy that's trying to sabotage us or hold us back from living, from being, from existing, from being the person that we want to be. We're moving forward. Might be a little rocky, but we're moving forward with intention. And the goal is to thrive, right? From the inside, to glow from the inside, standing in our truth and knowing that we don't need anything, anyone to tell us how great we are. Capricorn, you're pretty great. There we are. 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands. This is hard for you. It's hard for you, but you're doing it. You're doing it. It just feels like I'm smiling because it feels like you're trying to change, for some of you, your state of mind. Trying to change something really core about where you are and where you sit and how you view the world and how you view yourself. And you're doing it, but it's just really hard to do. Capricorn, that's what I have for you as you head into the week. You're standing, right? You're standing up for yourself. Shake that dirt off. Okay, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. You take care. Taurus, hello. How you doing? Let's jump right into the week. Oh, too many. Let's see. Oh. All right. 2 of Wands, Ace of Swords. So it feels like that closing that we had last week, right, with that 10 of Swords here. We're starting that new cycle. We're very much on to the next, right? So that's nice. That's really lovely, actually, to see that whatever loop we were closing last week, that Ace of Swords, we're moving into a different cycle here. Two of Wands. So definitely how we're directing our energy, right? Feels like there's some sort of choice you're making here. I'm wondering if for some of you that choice revolves around relocating. Strength. So far, a lot of the signs have been showing me strength into their clarifiers or in their shadow, right? It's coming through. So really this idea of facing whatever they need to head on and standing in their truth. Right? And doing a great job of that. Heading into your clarifiers here, we have that King of Wands, the Seven of Wands, Five of Cups, Ten of Swords, Ace of Wands, the Star, the Sun. All right. So that Ten of Swords that we saw last week ended. For some of you, it might be heading into this week, but it feels like whatever that loop is closing out for you here. And we are being very crystal clear about where we want to go next, what we're feeling about our future, where we see ourselves headed. How are we going to get there? So whatever this ending is, yes, it's still bleeding into this week a little bit. So I will correct my statement. It could even be that you're taking time to grieve whatever loss you left behind in the last week as well. Alrighty, so take that as it resonates. Because this energy here feels like we're closing the door. It is the end of that chapter. That book is now placed on the shelf, and we are focused forward, being very clear about our goal and where that we see ourselves headed next. And it feels like a pretty big shift for you, Taurus, because of the double strength card that we're seeing, because of the two aces that we're seeing. I would expect that whatever this chapter is closing out for you frees up your energy to make big changes. So it might not feel like it at this moment, but it feels like this is that catalyst for the rest of the changes and how 2026 will be shaping up for you. Okay? Big things happening here, Taurus. Big things. Yes. Two of Pentacles, right? So trying to direct our energy and shift our dynamic, shift our environment, change our priorities based on closing this book, changing our pillars, focusing in on what matters and not the other bullshit that is around us, right? And with that Six of Wands universal message here, doing the right thing for yourself. And again, some signs are showing me this, and I feel like you are showing me this as well. You are leading the way. You are taking the lead, and others are following in your footsteps. Maybe not right away, but your path, where you're headed next, you are blazing the trail. Okay, Taurus? That's what I have for you. You're giving me goosebumps here a little bit, all right? Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you as always. We'll see you next time. You take care. Virgo, hello. Let's jump right in and see what the week of January 26th has in store. Show me Virgo, please. All right. Oh, hello. Welcome to your reading. Love that. Alrighty, you've got Justice and the Hermit, so Libra and Virgo energy with the Three of Pentacles in the shadow. Alrighty. Three of Pentacles, the World, and the High Priestess. So this does feel like it's speaking on here, listening to yourself and not letting any outside voices, not trying to please anyone, and not letting any outside voices influence your path, your direction, listening to what you need, right? And moving forward in that way for Virgo and for no one else. This seems to be the overall theme, actually, for a lot of the signs. But let's see how this specifically applies to you here. I love tarot. I do, I do. All right, I need 2 more clarifiers, please. Okay, we'll take the 3. I'm good with it. Can we see all those? Just rearrange a little bit so we can see them all. Yes. So just looking in your shadow, Virgo, there's some evolution. I do see like a leveling up here, right? We're doing what we need to do for ourselves. Okay. And that is very prominent. It feels foreign almost in a way to be thinking in this way, but you're doing it, and quite successfully. All right. Coming into your clarifiers here, we have that 10 of Wands, Page of Swords, Hermit, Justice, 8 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Queen of Cups. Yes, again. We're stopping this, keeping in mind last week as well with that 10 of Swords, we're really not, whatever overthinking that you were having last week and losing sleep over, it's kind of like, okay, we've dealt with it, right? And we're letting go of things that are not ours to manage. That's what I'm hearing. It's not ours to manage. It's not our problem to solve, right? We're staying in the present moment, carrying forward that idea of being intentional about what is ours and how we move through our life, right? So discarding what's not ours to manage, moving forward and letting all of it go. Leave that muck behind, right? Where do we want to be? What do our boundaries look like? How are we going to enforce them? How are we going to be very intentional about setting those boundaries and sticking to them, right? Not just so that other people, or we exert those boundaries with other people, but also how do we exert those boundaries with ourselves, right? When we see ourselves or notice that we're starting to pick up more than we should and starting to solve problems that are not ours to solve. How do we be super clear with ourselves about reinforcing that boundary or setting that boundary, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing for you here. And really having that be the framework for moving forward. Knight of Wands and that King of Swords. Tying into last week as well, right? With that King of Swords, it feels like your mental framework is you've adjusted that. You're in the midst of tweaking that and being super clear with yourself about what you need and how to clear up your path and free up your mental headspace as well as your time and your energy to continue moving forward on your path in the way that you want to, right? And standing up for yourself, sometimes to yourself, right? Because nobody else will. And so we're tired of dealing with everybody else's stuff. You've got enough on your own, right? Virgo, lovely, lovely, lovely. I wish you all the best this week and always. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. You take care. Libra, hello. How you doing? Ooh, that was quick. Temperance, Death, 8 of Cups. All right, you're like, I was waiting patiently. Now is my time. Let's do this. Temperance and Death showing up. So really focused on being in balance, in harmony, right? Trying to achieve that as you move forward, and really making sure that we're focused on that during whatever transition is happening for you here. 8 of Cups. Yeah, we're renouncing some part of us that no longer worked in favor of balance. Okay. Interesting. Interessante. 5 of Cups. There's a whole wackadoodle of them. One more, please. Thank you. All right. So you're getting to your happy place again, and this is part of the movement forward into that. So with that 6 of Wands, I definitely see you feeling more like yourself, or getting back to this, working your building your confidence up again. And that feels really nice. 5 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Queen of Swords, 10 of Cups, Temperance, Hierophant. So I just heard conforming to something in a way, and I don't know if that's a fear for you, or you're feeling like you're selling out with something. I'm not too sure what that's speaking on, but it feels like we're conforming. Interesting. So hopefully that resonates for some of you there, Libra. But yeah, it's this idea. So whatever we let go, we let it go. We have accepted that. And how do we move forward, right? And how do we implement these lessons here based on that loop that we closed out, and move forward with the best of our being, right? And yeah, for some of you, that might look a little bit more traditional. That might be leaning on the safe choice, right? Taking security over something that might bring you a little bit more joy. And it feels like the Libra that I read for, this has kind of been a struggle for you, right? Do we choose the path that brings us emotional fulfillment, but might not be the typical choice? Or do we go the route of attaining more security, right? I'm wondering if you found that balance for you, or at least made that choice to where you feel comfortable in whatever decision you made, and you're trying to balance that in some way, right? And find that happy place for you, that happy medium even, right? So interesting. And yeah, it does feel like this idea of your moving on, moving away from whatever that 10 of Swords energy was last week, and trying your best to focus on being content. 7 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, so any sort of confusion or illusion, we're not in that, right? We're not in fantasy land. We're not, what happens if I win the lottery, or what happens if this, if there's that next best thing just waiting around the corner for me. Feels like we're kind of done with that energy, and a little bit more focused on, life gets messy sometimes. It's not always going to be perfect. So how do we make peace with that and continue to move forward, right? Being the best version of ourselves, and accepting things and people for, their warts and all, right? And feeling content in where you are. And it feels like that's what we're doing here. Okay, Libra, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you today and always. I'll see you next time. You take care. Aquarius, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 26th. And happy birthday. I hope you're doing well. Let me know in the comments what you plan on doing, how you plan on celebrating your big day. Oh, the cards can't make up their mind today. There we go. Alrighty, King of Wands and Three of Cups here. So that's nice. Feeling content, feeling good, feeling in control, right? And whatever this recognition is, right, you're allowing yourself to enjoy it, which is really lovely. Perhaps even a celebration for you based on whatever recognition you're receiving. Aquarius, for some of you, I'm hearing promotion. Alrighty. King of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, the Devil, Six of Wands, Ten of Swords, Six of Cups, with Justice in the shadow. Interesting here. I'm just going to take my guy. Let's see, double sixes for Aquarius. Irritability. That does make sense here, especially with that Devil and that Ten of Swords from last week kind of leaking in here, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Aquarius, but last week we were really kind of being conservative, strategizing, right? And aware of this kind of energy or this person who was really trying to cast shade or hinder your progress. So I feel that kind of leaking into this week as well, especially with that Devil energy. And we're kind of like, it's still there. So for some of you, it feels like whatever that energy was is not going anywhere. We have to deal with it. We have to mitigate it. So almost this idea of we see it for what it is, but we're not letting it hold us back. Right. So definitely some sort of recognition. It's like a flea or a tick, right? We got to just kind of deal with it. It's annoying, but we're not going to let it get in the way of our enjoyment. Yeah, so with whatever loop we were closing last week, right? Like I said, it's still lingering. It's still kind of bleeding into this week here. There's some sort of recognition of, okay, we have to come to terms with it. Perhaps you're still trying to do that this week, Aquarius, but really trying to gain momentum and move forward, being intentional about moving on from this. So still speaking on whatever that was last week. I did mention that it could be legal matters, perhaps a divorce, something contractual here, where we just want to be done with it and move on because we feel this draining us. And perhaps this week, Aquarius, is where anything lingering really closes up shop here. And we're done with it. And we're kind of saying, okay, the past is the past. We've done with this. We're giving it space. We're saying our final goodbyes. And now we're moving forward and feeling really good about that direction that we're taking, right? So there's some sort of celebration here. It does feel like a celebration of that ending that we closed out last week. And you're feeling as good as you can, right? You're allowing yourself to celebrate that win while still being mindful of letting it go and feeling the weight of what that loop, that cycle meant to you, right? Yeah, it's a part of you, whatever that was, but you're standing strong, probably as a result of whatever that loop was for you, what that meant for you. It was a big part of your it was a big part of what got you here. And now we're assessing and saying, okay, what do we do next? How do we maneuver next? How do we maneuver from this, right? Lovers showing up. And did this show up for you as well? Reconnecting, right? Clearing up some space to reconnect with some sort of soul bond connection here. Karmic connection. Feeling in touch with, or getting in touch with that person. Doubling down on that. And maybe you're celebrating with that person, right? And it doesn't have to be a love ship as described here. It could be just a soul bond, right? Parents, sibling, child, something like that, right? And feeling good in that. Interesting. Aquarius, this is what I have for you. You're looking at that double energy and you're saying, no more. No more. What used to stress you out so much does not anymore. It no longer has that hold on you, which is lovely to see. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. As always, we'll see you next time. You take care. Gemini, hello. Let's get right into it and see. Oh, very quick, very quick. Oh, we've got 3. Okay, well, we'll do it. Gemini, in your feels for sure. 4, 5, 8. Moving on, right? But mourning what we had. You're really focused on feeling this. I'm getting this idea that you're blocking kind of everything else out to really feel this loop that was trying to close out with that 10 of Swords last week here. You're like, I don't want to deal with anything. Don't come for me until I'm ready. Interesting. Let's get some clarifiers here for Gemini. Yeah, you've got a lot to say. Yeah, whatever this is, right? Whatever we're focusing on here, it feels heavy for you. And it feels like it will continue to sit with you. Whatever we've lost, whatever we've closed out, right? 2 of Wands, the Devil, 2 of Pentacles, High Priestess, the Moon, 7 of Cups, the Star, Ace of Swords. I'm just sensing, Gemini, that we're a little bit confused this week and perhaps leaning too much into the negative, right? Sitting in here maybe a little too long before finally wanting to move on. All right. Or it could even be that there's a desire to move on, but we're not ready yet. What does it mean to finally walk away from this, right? There's a fear there that I'm getting of associated with the idea of walking away, because once we walk away, what's next, right? And that's why change is so hard, because even if something isn't working, it's still familiar to us. We know what to expect, right? Once we move on and finally let go of that, there's an unfamiliarity there. We no longer know what to expect. And I feel like that's the struggle for you, Gemini, this week, sorting out what the future looks like for you. Right? So a little bit of hesitation in picking up that Ace of Swords, that new mindset, that new logic, that new perspective, whatever that sword looks like for you, Gemini. And as well, what do you look like, right? As we head into this new chapter here. Very interesting. Very interesting. And it's You got to listen to yourself, right? Listen to your true voice, not the fear, not the panic. Two of Wands, the devil. Yeah, that devil energy, it feels like it's really trying to keep you where you are. Don't let the fear win, Gemini. Don't let the fear win. You've got so much more ahead of you, okay? That's what I have for you this week, all right? Walk away, right? That Six of Wands, walk away. Do what you need to do. Stand in your truth. Stand in your truth. You'll get there, alrighty? Gemini, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best this week and always. We'll see you next time. You take care. Cancer, hello. Let's jump right in and see what we can see for the week of January 26th. Can't believe how fast this year is going. Queen of Wands and the Empress with that Nine of Swords in the shadow. Yeah. Giving yourself a little extra love, a little extra TLC. I'm hearing pamper yourself, right? And not with the typical, like, materialistic, although that could be good too. More of this idea of pamper yourself spiritually, right? Nine of Swords here. With that world ending last week, right? That world ending last week. With that world card coming through and that major loop trying to close last week, right? It feels like it could be still lingering here. And we need a little extra love, right? You need a little extra tenderness this week. Oh, the cards are just flying everywhere here. Death, change, right? It's almost like we want that. We're craving that. Lots of feminine energy there, right? All right, we've got the Page of Pentacles, the Fool, Page of Wands, Death, King of Pentacles in the reverse, that Tower energy, and that Sun. So we are heading into a Tower moment here. It feels like with that King of Pentacles in reverse, this Tower, it could be a perceived fear that our security is in jeopardy. Or something about our long-term plan is going to be dismantled in some sort of way, right? And this does kind of speak on that major loop that we were trying to close out last week here for you, Cancer. And it feels like, yeah, it was hard. It was a challenge. And we're just kind of showing up here like, I just want a little love. I want a little love, right? Doing the hard thing here. Just give me a little bit of recognition for everything that I'm doing, because I'm doing a lot. And you are doing a lot, Cancer. You really are. And I wish I could say that, it's going to get easier. But with this Tower moment here, we're heading into something where it feels like whatever loop we closed out, it's opening this path for a little bit more of a shakeup here, to allow that change that we want to take place to really come into being here. So yeah, with that Nine of Swords here, it feels like we're struggling a little bit because of what happened last week. We're just looking to have some fun, maybe some retail therapy. I'm hearing that. Let's just go shopping. But the good news is with that full energy, we really focused on what's next. So that's really nice. Oh. 8 of Cups and Death. Yeah, so change and transformation. You are transforming, Cancer. You are moving on. You're letting go of things that do not work for you any longer. So the good news is that whatever major loop we wanted to close out last week, it does feel like we're doing that for the most part. It just feels like a little bit of an uphill battle for you because that loop has kind of kick-started more things. It feels like a domino effect is what we're kind of heading into here. And so with that Strength card showing up, do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel safe, secure, loved, right? And reaffirm to yourself that you're on the right path, because it feels like you're headed for a little bit more disruption than comes the change. Okay, but you're doing a good job. You're walking away, and it feels like, yeah, you're in search of that recognition, or that recognition is coming to you. But again, do what you need to do, right? We don't, as long as we feel that change within us, we shouldn't need other people to recognize that change. Although it's nice when they do, right? You recognize that change, Cancer. You recognize that you are changing. And that's enough. Okay? Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you as always. We'll see you next time. You have the best week. You take care. Scorpio, hello. Let's jump right in and see what the week of January 26th has in store. Okay. We'll do it. We've got the World, the Tower, 3 of Pentacles, and that 5 of Pentacles. I thought we were done with this 5 of Pentacles, Scorpio. I thought we were. Looks like we're not. So some loop is closing here, and it doesn't feel pleasant with that Tower energy coming through. The good news is that that 3 of Pentacles is showing up, right? So whatever this is that we're closing out is really creating space for something new to take its place, all right? That 5 of Pentacles, I feel like it's been following you for some time, definitely since 2025, that is for sure. I thought we were done with this energy of struggling, but we are not. Let's get some clarifiers. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm hearing this is getting a little rocky. And whatever that 10 of Swords energy was, that was last week, right? I'm wondering if it didn't fully close for you, or you were holding onto something. You were holding yourself back in some way or another, preventing that loop from closing. Okay. Interesting. We have the Ace of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles in reverse, 9 of Cups in the reverse, 6 of Cups here, and that Page of Wands. So definitely feeling energized, re-energized for sure. You're not sitting, right? So again, this feels like a rocky week, but you're not sitting there. It feels like there's no time to rest. You're bouncing from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's hard. It feels like it'll be challenging for you this week, Scorpio, to hold on to that feeling of feeling secure, feeling grounded, because there's so much going on, that it feels like you will constantly have to kind of remind yourself of your why, your reason for pushing as hard as you've been pushing, and really be your own cheerleader is kind of what I'm hearing for you, right? Advocate for yourself is what I'm hearing as well. And just, yeah, this idea of feeling a little bit fired up here and trying to navigate through this tower as best you can. It's going to get a little rocky. And overall, for the majority of the signs, Scorpio, you're definitely not alone in this kind of energy. Queen of Pentacles, trust yourself, right? And I think last week we were speaking on that as well. Trust yourself. Remember your why, right? Nine of Swords, don't let that overthinking, don't let that doubt creep in, because I see it happening. I feel that hesitation here. You're on your way. You are headed into a place that you haven't been before, uncharted territory. Don't let that doubt or that fear hold you back. Okay? Whatever this tower is shaking up, it's shaking it up for a reason. You've come a long way for a reason, but you still have further to go. Okay? Scorpio, that's what I have for you as you head into this week. You got this, all right? I wish you all the best. As always, you take care, okay? Pisces, hello, hello. Let's go ahead and see what we can see for the week of January 26th. Perfect. All right. Three of Cups in the reverse, and that Seven of Pentacles energy here. Okay, we're headed towards a tower. And that Three of Cups in the reverse. Not the biggest fan of that. Let's get some clarifiers here. Okay. There's that tower, right? It's coming. It's coming for a lot of signs. That King of Pentacles. All right, so for this Three of Cups in reverse, we have the Two of Wands, the Ten of Swords, which was our universal message last week, Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, the Tower, Chariot, Page of Pentacles, and of course, King of Pentacles in that shadow here. It feels like we're not seeking pleasure, or we're not seeking, how can I say this? Where we used to have fun is no longer fun. Where we used to have enjoyment, perhaps people, friendships that we used to really enjoy are no longer that enjoyable. And so we're seeing that part of it. It no longer has the same effect as what it used to. Okay, Ten of Swords here. We perhaps stubbornly want that feeling, or maybe that connection, that we want it to be what it was, right? And I feel like Pisces, you've been struggling with this a little bit of, we want to feel as good as we did back then, but in present, that situation, that dynamic either no longer exists, or it doesn't feel as good as it did in the past. And so there's a little bit of a struggle with that, Pisces, right? Perhaps you took great comfort in those friendships or whatever that dynamic was. And that Tower that's coming is shaking this up, right? And I feel like that Ten of Swords, that's what we have struggled walking away from, is some aspect of the past. It brought you a lot of joy, right? And how do we move on from something that was such a happy place for us and is not anymore? So with that Seven of Pentacles here, I feel you trying to move forward and trying to move on from this into a place where you are happy. Perhaps this Tower is kind of a blessing in disguise, because it will give you that momentum needed to finally put this, stop trying to find that comfort in whatever this is, because it's no longer a safe space for you. So we can't seek solace in something that no longer provides solace, right? And so whatever that Tower is shaking up, right, hopefully it is bringing that Ten of Swords ending to an end and closing out that loop for you, so that with that Chariot and that Page of Pentacles energy, we can continue to move forward and have a grounded approach, have an accurate picture of what our life looks like without this, and leave that in the past. Right? So again, with the Six of Wands here, yes, it feels like you want a little recognition or a little bit of positive reinforcement of, hey, I'm doing this. I'm really showing up. I'm really trying to change. It's just really hard. It's really hard because I used to rely on this so much and I can't do that anymore. Right? That's valid. That makes total sense here. There's some aspects of it just feels like this Tower is coming through to help you finally release that, so that you can stand on your own 2 feet without feeling like there's an empty hole where this used to be. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, okay? So you're working on it. And good for you, Pisces. You're getting there, you know? The Empress and the Devil. Yeah, the Mother of the Tarot, right? Give yourself a hug, right? It's okay. Whatever is happening here, change is hard, right? We know that. And whatever this ending was with that Ten of Swords, it meant a lot to you. You know, that's very clear. That Devil energy, perhaps we stuck to it, or we are sticking to it. We were clinging to it for too long. And we know what we're facing. We know that dynamic is no longer part of our future. This feels like the final goodbye. Okay, but you're moving on. That Tower is coming to shake loose any kind of remnants here, you know, and have you continue on in the best way possible, right? Just be a little gentle with yourself, right? Take a bath. I don't know, that's coming through. Take a bath, take a pause, right? You're doing a lot of work. You're feeling a lot of things, and that's okay. Just do what you need to do for you. Be a little bit selfish in your self-care, okay? Pisces, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you all the best this week and always. We'll see you next time. You take care.